it for our guests as well.
You mentioned we have a royal barge. I mean, I certainly seen I witnessed the rehearsal on the 3rd. I mean, it does look impressive, and it's not only like exciting for our visitors, but it's also exciting for the Thai people as well.
Oh yes, what is exciting for others would be exciting for Thai people as well.
Because it's not very often that we have it.
No, that's true. We need to keep our finger crossed. Hope won't rain on that day.
Okay. Where have you attend the meeting for ABAC overseas?
Well, I have been to Brunei, have been to Auckland, have been to Peru, have been to China, Shanghai, Los Cabos, etc. So in each of these meetings, each year we have 4 meetings. So I've been up to Vancouver, went to Scottsdale in the United States. So all these meetings. But I think what we need to learn is really how to facilitate our APEC members. As all the members that we have for the APEC meeting, many of them are very busy. They are top businessmen, and not all of them can stay on for the full period. So some come late and some come before and leave early. So therefore we have to really facilitate them to achieve what we want to achieve during the time that they are here. And this year we have a little something different from last year, is that we're going to have a little updating at the beginning, updating on the WTO, and Dr. Supachai has kindly accepted to come and explain to us the WTO, the past, the present, and the future. Because APEC, we have to work within the framework of WTO. And then we have a session on the world economy and APEC economy. And we have a session on the individual action plan that all this APEC economy, after all this recommendation, what have we done so far? So this is actually will be updated by our ambassador Piamsak. And then we carry on our meetings, and then we also provide time for the APEC member to join in the APEC CEO Summit conference. Now the CEO Summit this year also is quite exciting. So we have the top 4 or 5 superpowers from President Bush, United States. We have President Hu Jintao from China, President Putin from Russia. We have Prime Minister Koizumi from Japan, and we probably have Mr. Howard from Australia. So when you have an opportunity to meet up all these leaders, to listen to the exposition of what their ideas are, it's really very exciting. So we provide the time for the APEC member to attend many of these APEC CEO Summit so that they can be, they have benefit both from APEC meeting as well as the CEO Summit. And we have done that over the last few years so that we listen to many leaders' dialogue. Now, near the end of our meeting on the 21st, I would like to promote more trade and business. So I have the afternoon set aside and invite all our private sector to come in. We have invited the PBAC members, the PEC members, and our private sector members to come in to join in what I call a private sector dialogue, so that we could do some business promotion.
So it's like buyer meet sellers, that kind of?
Not really. It's just business people meet up together, and when you talk to each other, then something might click, and there could be some sort of joint venture or business venture that can come. Also, besides, we also have the BOI promoting this business mart, investment mart, and also we would provide a lot of facility for people to go to visit factories and buy whatever they want to buy. You see, it's time for the Thai private sector to wake up, to start learn how to do hard selling, and in order to realize all the opportunities that we have.
Can it be said that APEC is supposed to boost world economy or Thai economy?
Well, the global economic growth, 70% are in the APEC economies, okay? And over the last 8 years or so, through the liberalization and through the facilitation, we have actually lift up 165 million people from the poverty level to the acceptable level. So these are some of the numbers that we would like to put down in the report when we write up this mid-year review. Yeah.
So can you actually say that it's actually achieved, like the closing of the gap between the rich and the poor, or rich people are still getting richer?
Well, closing the gap sometimes some people think it's necessary, but I look at it the other way from the natural point of view, that sometimes that should not be a variable. I think so long as the people who are on the lower echelon are happy, let them be. I look at nature as such. You probably do not find two mountains are of the same height. All right? And I look at it the way that I think the poor people are like the plain and the rich are like the mountain. Now, without the mountain, where can you catch the rain? All right? So my idea is, if it rains onto the mountain, where does it flow? It's all the way down to the plain. So we have to use nature as our teacher. Let the mountain grow and catch more rain. And who benefits from that rain? It's the people down below. So therefore you cannot lift the plane up to the height of the mountain, but you can always blast the mountain by taxes to level with the plain. In this case, you get only deserts. And when it rains on the desert, you get nothing left. So this is my own thinking and my own philosophy that is a little different from what the other people always try to close the gap. And when you close the gap too much at the end, it may not be so nice because there will not anybody collect garbage and places are look dirty because you can't get labor because the gap, there's no more gap. But sometimes if we look at it realistically, the gap may not be that bad.
You mentioned about poverty, that the level of it has been decreased.
The people who are in the poverty level has been lifted up. This is what it is. But I think at the end, if we can let everybody have sufficient food and sufficient quality of life, rather than to be what I call extravagant. Each family have 5 cars. It's no good. So I think we might have to evolve a new philosophy, a philosophy of sufficiency and happiness. And I always feel that the word GNP, gross national product, may not be a good measure. In Thailand, we have a lot of gross national happiness, which is more important than gross national product. And I think if you look at it frankly, the higher the GNP, the higher the pollution, the higher quantity of paper, plastic, and all this usage. So therefore, I think it's about time that we should look at life more clearly, follow the law of nature. At the moment, you probably know that the whole world is exploding with number of people. It's only You know, for 400,000 years, the world had only 4 million people. And that increased to 27 when we learned how to grow food. And at the time of Jesus Christ, there's only 100 million people. The first billion didn't come until 1825. Second billion in 1930, 105 years later. Third billion 1960, 30 years later. Fourth billion in 1977, 17 years later. Fifth billion in 1989, 12 years later. 6 billion in 10 years, 1999. So 7 billion is coming up. So therefore we are taxing that little globe, little earth, too much. Therefore it's time that we should start thinking being frugal, sufficiency, and happiness, rather than economic growth, GNP all the time. And I personally don't think that is the right way, because we are going to get ourselves into a lot of problems. And you can see the whole world now has a lot of problems. And lots of people have never addressed the real problem. The real problem is overpopulated.
I mean, I'm sure some countries have tried to fix the number of children people can have. I mean, it's not applied to all the countries.
Well, some countries do and some countries don't. But I think for the advanced country, the population growth has already reached the plateau. And Japan at the moment is actually look forward to the next 50 years that the Japanese population will be reduced by 1/3 from 120 million down to 80 million. At the moment, there are more old Japanese people than younger Japanese people. So therefore, the trend is there, and my idea is thinking that if the whole world can have a -1% population growth, we would halve our population in 75 years. And in 150 years, we would have 1/4. I think that would be a better world for the future if we could have 1/4 or less the number of people. We are actually encroaching on the right of all the other animals on this globe, you see. So
can you say that education plays a major part in...
Actually, education is the key for the future. And this is where Thailand comes in, that we would like to promote education for the future. And this is also part of this APEC aim in capacity building through education. And I think we really have to sit down and draw up a very, very good plan in order to promote this education among the APEC economy. And you mentioned right now just how to close this economic gap. And I think the only way to close this economic gap is through education. And education teach all the young kids to learn more than one language, say 5 languages, mother tongue, your English, business language, mathematics, and computer language, those 5 languages. And then learn about the law of nature, learn how to think, learn how to be creative, learn how to think generosity. When you don't have, you become frugal. When you have, you learn how to give. So all these little character building and education is a very, very vital for the future of APEC to grow together. And I think this is one area that I like to really, that APEC should push harder and harder on this. Now in the ABAC area, you probably find that there are many, many issues to be done. And if I recollect correctly, within the last few years, we have more than almost 1,000 issues to do. And it gets very confusing. So I sat down and I said, what are these issues? And I like things very simple. My upbringing was in engineering, so engineering you try to be very, very simple. So I said, out of all these issues, there are 5 categories. The first I call personal issue. For many ABAC members who come in, they bring in their own personal issues. And after a few years, they learn what ABAC is all about. By that time, they would have left ABAC, a new member would come in. So there are a lot of personal issues in these ABAC issues. Second is what we call corporate issue. For people who come from large corporation and they're being sent over by corporation, therefore they have this corporate issue. The third is the national issue for those who really love their country more than anybody else. This is called national issue. And the fourth is what I call regional issue. At the moment we have ASEAN, NAFTA, and all this. So these are regional issue. And finally we come to collective ABAC issue. This is what really matters. It's ABAC issue. So my idea is that let us develop an APEC, an ABAC spirit, a spirit of giving, a spirit of understanding, and how we can push the goal to reach the goal together. Yeah, so these are the things.
So collective ABAC issues has got more priorities over the others?
Well, some think so, some don't, you see, so therefore it depends on the members' attitude. But I think, as far as I'm concerned, whether it's personal issue, corporate issue, national issue, regional issue, they should finally boil down collective APEC issue and benefit all the members of APEC or APEC. So there are certain things that some member would ask me, Dr. Vip, Mr. Chairman, would you sign this letter? I said, well, let me read it first, you see. And I said, well, I will ask myself 3 simple questions. 1, is it good for us? 2, is it fair to the other? And 3, is it fair to all the other APEC economy? If not, then I don't want to sign it, something like that, you know? So these are very simple guidelines I learned from President Reagan's recommendation.
Okay, earlier you mentioned about WTO. Could APEC be seen as to support WTO or?
Yeah, we support WTO all along, and we certainly would like to accelerate the action plan in order to reach what we call total liberalization. And another thing that is being bogged down is what we call agricultural, the food system. For the advanced country, many of them still give a lot of what we call subsidy. And for the poor country, we depend on agriculture export. So therefore, this is something that is being bogged down. But I think if we all think positive and we all want to move towards the same goal, this also is solvable. But if we think it's insoluble, then it's very difficult. In our last meeting in Tokyo, so we had a session, and then it was mentioned that in Japan, the agricultural sector represents only 1.65% of the GDP. So why should a 1.65% overrule the rest, you see? So there are a lot of politics and political undertone within all this agricultural sector. I think it's only through education again that we are brought to understand what really matters. In Japan, only less than 5% of the population involved with agriculture, and yet it's relatively closed and not open.
How about Thailand? I mean, I'm sure we have a lot of potential to develop this side of the...
Well, we have to develop wisely, and I think for the future, the Thai people will have to start thinking what would be our competitive advantage. The Thai people have a lot of creativity. We have a very good geographical country. So there's a lot of things we can benefit from. All we need to do is to sit down and think and find the right niche, okay, and then we approach from that niche. So who else would have this motorbike in the soil, you know? I have never seen any country. Only Thailand have this motorbike in the soil, and that's a good niche, you see. So who has long tail boat? Thailand has long tail boat, you see. And who has the very famous Tom Yam Goong? We do. Who has the Pad Thai? We do. Who has the Khao Niao Mamong? We do. So all these things, you know, if you look at it carefully, we do have a lot of things to offer for the APEC countries, and our fruits are among the best in the world. And if all the fruits that we have the flavor, we have the sweetness. Well, we're not talking about durian. We talk about mangosteen, mango, and all the other. I think we have a lot of potential. The longan, the lamjai, you know. So all we need to do is to develop it one step further, and that will be highly in demand. Even industrial goods, I think you probably don't even remember back about 40 years ago when we used to have blackout in Thailand, you know. And at that time, the electricity generating board produced a little transformer. And that was the best transformer, small, efficient. You know, we could be very good also on industrial products if we put our heart to it.
So, Dr. Witt, can you conclude about ABAC for us? Yeah.
Well, it's difficult to conclude what we set out to do for the long term. But I think we are on the right road. We are on the road to achieve the BOGO goal. And if all our members within ABAC or our members within APEC develop the APEC spirit or ABAC spirit, a spirit of courtesy, a spirit of understanding, a spirit of generosity, we are here to meet in order to help and to give. We are not here just to take and take. And if we all come here just to take, we'll end up in a quarrel. We'll come here to help and to give. Then we're going to be very happy, and we could have a very good consensus, and would help the less developed country to develop further through education, through providing opportunities. And I think at the moment what is very important is to have 2-3 things that will come out, is to have certain financial stability among the APEC members. And this is very important since the 1997 problem. And I think our Prime Minister is promoting this Asia bond, has received very good attention and participation from members. Secondly is also what we call the legal system among the APEC member, that it should be international, should be understandable, and we should have this what we call good corporate governance. And in fact, I have invented a new Chinese character to signify this corporate good governance. And then we also would like to promote the SME, the small and medium-sized enterprise. We push for improved education and exchanges, and we sort of try to what we call build up more capacities through standard and conformances, you know. Because all our goods here, many of them do not have the same standard, you see. And I always laugh when I join this task force meeting. I said, I would like to travel through APEC country with only one electric plug, you know, so I don't have to change plugs all the time. And through communication, through the latest, what we call internet and other things, I think if we all think positive and we are all sincere to help each other, we will reach the goal very quickly. And but if we are out here just to take it, it is not right. And I deplore people come out just to take and dominate the other in their selfish aim. But I think we should be fair to, like I said before, is it good for us? Is it fair to the other? Is it fair to all the APEC economies?
Okay, thank you very much for joining us today.
Yeah.
And that was Dr. Vipan Reung Pitaya, the chairman of ABAC 2003.